A biblical perspective on life, culture and current events. This is 2020 on Vision.
Christian ministry has all sorts of amazing dimensions. Well, one creative dimension today, with the ministry making a significant impact, providing renewed dignity, independence and hope by providing wheelchairs. Not one or two, but in fact, this is an organisation that have provided more than 1.5 million wheelchairs in 95 developing countries around the world. Nuka Hart is joining us, the Chief Executive Officer for Free Wheelchair Mission. Nuka, a special welcome along to 2020.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, 1.5 million wheelchairs. That's a huge feat.
It is. It is. We're really proud of our accomplishment, but there's so much work to do.
And you've got a goal, as I understand it, to reach 3 million wheelchair users. So doubling the capacity that you've already achieved, 3 million. But how long does it take to get that many?
Well, we've been in existence for 24 years as an organization, giving out wheelchairs around the world. We've touched 95 countries, so it's taken us 24 years to get to 1.5 million. But we're shooting for, as you mentioned, a 3 million goal total. So we're hoping that in the next 10 years, so much shorter period of time, we can reach that milestone. And the reason is because the World Health Organization estimates that there are about 80 million people at any given time that need a wheelchair, and the vast majority do not have access to one. So we feel really compelled, convicted to do something about that.
You know, here in Australia, it's likely that it's a fairly easy thing to get a hold of a wheelchair. Australia's not a developing country, though, and when you've got a developing country situation where there's levels of poverty, how big is the need? I mean, have you got an estimate here for how many wheelchairs are needed? That might give us an idea how far short even your extensive goals will be of actually meeting the needs of the whole big problem around the world. How many wheelchairs are needed?
Right. Well, the estimate is that one number that I just mentioned, the World Health Organization 80 million number. With the vast majority, you can estimate, there's some people that say if only 5 million people of the 80 million people or 10 million had access, the remainder would need access through aid. And with so many countries dealing with things like natural disasters, wars, and just poverty, right? The reasons for mobility issues are obvious, but then there are others that would maybe question why don't they have access to the resource if there are those things happening, those traumas, those calamities happening. Why don't those countries have access to the supply? And our wheelchairs are unique in that they address the needs of the developing world, in that our wheelchairs are made with mountain bike tires. So it's not just limited access to wheelchairs, but it's limited access to a wheelchair that would do well in the environments of these countries that we are really, really doing something about.
And you've got it down pat too. You can access these wheelchairs or have them developed in such a way, as you say, mountain bike tyres on a wheelchair. You can do it at a fairly low price. What does it cost to put one of these together?
Well, it's about $100 or so US dollars to make one wheelchair, and that is to manufacture it and to ship it to any of the countries where we serve. So our wheelchairs are manufactured and then put unassembled in boxes, and then they're shipped by container shipments to the countries where we have partners. And our partners are in a variety of countries, dealing with a variety of circumstances. But it takes a lot of effort from our team to design and innovate to the right wheelchairs, and then it takes a lot of effort to get to the people who need them.
Nuka, you are at the helm. You're the Chief Executive Officer. Do you have your own story to tell in all of this? How did you get to be involved? How did you get to be the CEO?
Well, you all are faith-based. What should I call you? A podcast, and I was going to say more like a family of listeners.
Yeah,
So
we
I'll
talk
lead
about our
into this.
listeners as family, that's for sure. And radio listeners.
Exactly. So I'll talk about it from the faith perspective. Maybe that would resonate the most with your listeners. At the time when I came to Free Will Mission 8 years ago, I really wasn't expecting to work with an organization that was faith-based and that was focused on wheelchairs. I was working in other humanitarian areas. I was actually working for an organization that was helping to address the homelessness crisis that we have here in the States, and really trying to center that work around veteran homelessness as well. And I got recruited to work for Free Will Mission, and I tell people that I came kicking and screaming because the organization was so far from where I lived at the time, and I just didn't see a connection to my professional journey other than it was a nonprofit organization. But God had something else in store for me. I listened to him and I went to the interview. And before even the interview, the recruiter showed me the package on Free Will Mission, and I was really impressed with the clear and direct impact that we could communicate to supporters. The reporting, all of it was just really impressive. And I loved the fact that they were reaching the world. And being of Haitian descent, so my family is originally from Haiti, I did find it appealing that the organization was making a significant impact in that country. So I listened, I went to the interview. I walked out of that interview. I knew for sure that I wanted this job, and I kind of had an inkling that I would get the job as well. You just have that kind of tug at your heart. You could say it's the Holy Spirit. You could say it's God whispering in your ear. And I just was obedient. And sometimes it's just an example of how we may have plans, but he laughs at us. And it's up to us to listen to him carefully and to follow his lead. I'm really happy that I did.
I'm happy you did too. And I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of a family who had a child who needed a wheelchair but had no financial resources to actually make that happen. And there, all of a sudden, your ministry is there. What sort of difference does it make to a family? I mean, we're talking children, teenagers, into adulthood, people who have been completely immobilized because they haven't had a wheelchair. What difference is it making to families?
Oh my goodness. Those are my favorite stories. As a mother, it always tugs at my heart when I'm able to have the honor to give out a wheelchair to a child and to see the mother's look on her face, or the father's, when you see that their burden is just been alleviated and they feel a sense of relief at the opportunity and hope that we've just provided through this wheelchair. I mean, the people that we're giving wheelchairs to in the developing world, particularly the children, people don't often think about it because I think psychologically we associate wheelchair with aging, right? And that's something that I think the majority of us at some point may end up in a wheelchair. It could be just through, old age. It could be through stroke, diabetes. And yes, for sure, we're giving out loads of wheelchairs to people like that. But with children in the developing world, a lot of times these are disabilities that come to bear just from birth. The mother identifies early on that her child cannot walk. And from that time on, the child needs an assistive device to be able to have some semblance of independence and being able to go to school. So I love the stories where we are able to give a child an opportunity to do something more than they were able to before. There are two in particular that are very, very close to my heart, from Haiti especially. One was in my first wheelchair distribution. It was a child who had lost his leg when he was in his home and the earthquake hit in 2010. And he was only 6 years old when the earthquake hit, and a beam fell down on his leg, crushing his leg. He had just come home from school. His mother was in the home with him. And then weeks later, here he is with only one leg left. So he had an amputation. His father ended up passing away in that terrible earthquake, and his mother was left to take care of him and his 3 brothers. It's a story I will never forget, as you could tell. And then here we come 8 years later. So this is now in 2018, 8 years later, and I was given the blessing, the honor to give him his first wheelchair. And it was his first. 8 years he waited for a wheelchair to arrive. So one would wonder, how did his mom do it? How did she carry her 14-year-old now boy? She really had to do her best. And she was a very thin woman. I looked at her with amazement that she was trying to care for him on her own without any assistive devices like a wheelchair. But he did have crutches. And so he was able to get to school with the crutches, but he was going 30 minutes each way on foot in a country that's dealing with a lot of social unrest. And now we see the story with Haiti being much more dangerous, riddled with violence. So a wheelchair provides opportunity in this case to have ease for the family, for the child to be able to go to school with ease, and also potentially safety. So it's much better for a child in Haiti to go to school with a wheelchair, let alone have to do it on crutches if they need to hurry and escape a dangerous situation. So that's just one example. I have many like that.
And
there's another.
For someone with a disability, just having access to a wheelchair that supercharges the opportunity to get an education and or to get a job and to participate in community life. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Hey, is there a base, an office in Australia? We're talking to you, I think, from the US today. Is, free wheelchair mission? Is there a connection point here in Australia?
Well, we do have a good number of supporters in Australia and not too far from me as well in New Zealand. We've had supporters who actually are planning to go on trips soon with us to distribute wheelchairs. We don't have an office there, but we have supporters that have supported us from that country and all over the world. Our work may be headquartered in the United States, but none of our distribution work is exclusive to in the United States. It's all done abroad. And even our innovation may start from our team in the United States, but we rely on individuals from all over the world to give us ideas in terms of not just engineering, but logistics advice, procurement, and our factories are abroad as well. So really with Australia, we rely on the support.
Okay, it is a global mission, and people in Australia, yes, supporting free wheelchair mission, also the opportunity to connect and actually be a part of the distribution of those wheelchairs in many of those 95 developing nations around the world. Nuka Hart is the CEO for Free Wheelchair Mission. And I'm sure Nuka would love to hear from you. No doubt they're looking for a few new friends from Australia, and you might be one of those. Something might just resonate with you here, but you can connect with Nuka at their website, freewheelchairmission.org. freewheelchairmission.org. Nuka, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today on 2020.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.